Good afternoon. A second tragedy in 3 days is unfolding in Fort Smith, downtown Fort Smith. You're looking at the Eads Brothers Furniture Store on Garrison Avenue at 414. Apparently, eyewitnesses say there was an explosion just a few moments ago, and now the entire building has gone up in flames.
We were directly across the street. We weren't 100 yards from the building.
Okay, well, we're glad you're safe and sound. Everybody got out okay, I hope.
Everybody was out. Everybody was just kind of scrambling around trying to figure out what was going on, and then we all decided the best thing we could do is get way back out of the way because it got so hot so quick that it's pretty obvious that you need to be 3 or 4 blocks back.
Okay, Alan, thanks so much. Once again, downtown Fort Smith is blocked off once again for the third time since the tornado, or second time since the tornadoes hit. Bridget Bonds is standing by live at the scene.
Let me tell you what's happened out here. About 2:30, we were coming out of a meeting with FEMA in downtown Fort Smith about the tornado that happened Sunday, and all of a sudden, one of the downtown buildings was in flames. Now, it was the Eads Brothers Building, and it went up so quickly. Another building beside it also went up, and that is the Goodwill store. Now, I talked earlier to a man who was standing on top of the Eads building when it went up in flames. He was giving an estimate to the Eads Brother building owner about his tornado damage when he saw smoke billowing out of the first floor. Both men did make it down safely through the fire escape. Now, at this time, those are the only 2 people that we know that were in or on the building. The man reassured me that there was no one inside the building because there was so much damage to it.
Just 3 days after a devastating tornado, the Eads Brothers Furniture Store on Garrison Avenue has gone up in a ball of smoke and flames. The fire so intense that people across the street and down the way inside the buildings could feel the heat. Joining us now is a man by phone who was on top of the building when, well, not by phone, it's on tape. He was on top of the building when the fire broke out after a series of small explosions.
Oh,
Let's
wow.
take that now.
We went out a back window and down the fire escape.
Okay, could I get you to, I have some trouble with my mic, could I get you to tell me that again?
Yeah.
Go ahead and just repeat,
Okay.
Tell me where you were and what happened.
Well, we were, Bill Eads and myself were on the roof, talking about the roof so I could give him the estimate on it. He, you know, the insurance adjuster and structural engineer were going to meet us here.
That's something else.
And we turned around and seen all the black smoke. And, you know, we just barely got to the first floor and it was full of smoke and went out a broken window and down the fire escape. And by then it was already, you know, in flames. I couldn't believe how fast it caught. You know, boy, it was just surprising how fast it went.
Could you tell where the smoke was coming from?
Somewhere in the front is all I know.
Was there anyone else in the building?
No, not that I know of. Just, I think it was, in fact, I know there wasn't because he had it locked and he had to unlock the door when we, you know, when we went to check the roof.
Yeah.
So it was probably electrical, I don't know.
You were giving him an estimate on his roof because of the tornado.
Yes,
right? Okay, and sir, you are in construction or what?
Well, I was. My truck's in front of that building.
Was that your truck in flames?
Yeah.
Wow.
There it went.
You were just listening to a taped interview with one of the 2 men that was on top of the Eads Brothers Furniture when 2 or 3 explosions touched off a fire that has demolished the building. He was a contractor taking a look at the top of Eads Brothers Furniture to come up with a price for repairing the structure that had been damaged by the tornado Sunday night.